grab your cup. There's three places that you could be in relationships or somewhere along the spectrum. Let's look at it like a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum are codependent relationships. So those are relationships that are based on needing other people. Very often needing one particular person, like in a romantic relationship, or needing other people in general in order to have a sense of self, in order to fulfill something in the identity that only gets fulfilled by other people. So codependent can look like one person enabling another person's bad behavior, tolerating toxicity from them, enabling or covering up for them if they're an alcoholic, let's say. So just always making excuses for them, covering up, tolerating if they're not nice to you, things like that. That's codependent. Codependency can also look like or come from, I can't do life myself. Because I can't do life myself, I need that other person. I need this relationship so that I'm getting a sense of myself, so that I'm feeling okay in the world, so that at least my bills are getting paid. Whatever is the reason. Oftentimes it's an emotional reason about self or a logistical reason, but it's needing someone in order to fulfill something inside of us that's become a part of our identity. And when you're codependent, there's a place where you know that, and it's very unfulfilling because you don't ever feel like who you are alone is good enough. So you know you're tolerating things that are intolerable. You know that you're staying in places and relationships that don't fulfill you or are toxic. But because of this codependency, you stay. So that's one end of the spectrum. The opposite end would be independent. That's somebody who's really a lone wolf, who's going through life, I got it, I can handle everything, I'm the one who does everything, I'm the one who can get it done, I don't need other people's help, things like that. What's interesting is someone who's often a lone wolf in their life will find relationship with someone who's codependent in the area of needing help. The person who is, I can't really do life myself, can find a lone wolf who's like, all right, I've got it handled. So what can happen is then the lone wolf is always taking care of the person who's on that side of the codependency behavior. So there's still a codependency there. That's what I want to point out. Even though these are two opposite ways of being on opposite ends of the spectrum, you can have the tendency to be a lone wolf and then go find and rescue people who need you to do it all. So not always does that happen, but it can happen. In the middle is interdependent. And this is the place where healthy relationships go to be born in interdependence, right? We are here to have relationships with people. We are here to feel connected. When you are rock solid in your own identity, when you're not needing to either handle things for other people or needing to have your identity fulfilled in some way. So how do you get to that place? That is knowing that who you are is worthy, lovable, meant to have great things and a great connected relationship. Someone who is not willing to tolerate toxicity and doesn't want to be alone and do it all themselves. And also someone who has learned to look at, embrace, love all of the darker parts of themselves, the things that they maybe in the past felt guilty of or held shame about, the things that they don't want other people to know. When you can look at that and own it and love it about yourself, now you can be in the middle of that spectrum. You can be a person who is here living their life with an identity that is well-formed, not taking or tolerating toxicity, an identity that is free to connect, free to give and take love, without the toxic part, without the dependency, without putting walls up and guarding and saying, no, I don't need that. And then that's when you find someone who is also in that place of being able to be interdependent. So where you are on that spectrum depends 100% on the identity that you've created for yourself. And the identity that you've created for yourself comes from the messaging and the experiences of your very early years in life. Typically the first 7 years are when we are looking at the world, watching other relationships in our household, being in relationship with our parents or our caregivers, and then learning how relationships work. How am I supposed to be? When you grow up in an alcoholic household, codependency is going to probably show up. When you grow up in an abusive household, lone wolf is going to show up. Abusive meaning could just mean you didn't get the love and nurtured. Could mean you got hit a lot also. Could mean you got sent to your room, you got shamed, you got told children are seen and not heard. All of those things creates a lone wolf. I'm going to do this myself. So it's that early development of self and identity which can be rewired. That's the beautiful thing about our brain, is when we are now conscious of these things that have really shown up automatically just because we weren't aware of them. When we become conscious and we do the rewiring, you can learn how to not be codependent. You can take down the guard walls and stop being a lone wolf and allow yourself to connect, and then find other people because they're there. You've just been finding people who are also in codependency with you, but find somebody who's willing to share life from that place of interdependence. So that's the way that healing can show up in relationships. Healing and growth, same thing in my mind. Healing doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're now willing to grow from what you knew as normal in the past and say, you know what? I don't want that to be my normal anymore. I want to grow into something else. If that's where you're at, put return to you in the comments. That's the foundational work that I do with people. It's enrolling right now. We close at the end of the week. It's by invitation only. So we need to connect so I can see where you're at. You can see what the program is about, and we can see if you're going to be one of those people that are in the next program. Okay? So codependent, independent, if you're striving and wishing for interdependence, drop it in the comments so we can connect. Have a good day.